Hello, and welcome back to Batman Arkham Origins. In the last episode, I addressed how this is going to be the final episode. I only dedicate this episode to reading more background information as to whether or not anybody likes to stick around and learn more about the Batman universe, if at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to visit the database and just learn more about everything. The case file reports just murders that had happened, and I had already figured them out. Everything leads up to us finding two people that he knows actually fairly well, and almost ends up murdering his friend's murderers. So we'll just check out the profiles, starting off with Batman. Real name, obviously Bruce Wayne. His occupation, vigilante. He's based in Gotham City. His eye color is blue. His hair color is black. He is 6'2", and he weighs 200 pounds. Is that less than... I think that's less than Arkham City, and I don't remember Arkham Asylum, but I think it's just like... Either he puts on more muscle. I mean, over time, he probably would. Or maybe it's age. I don't know. GCPD knows little about Batman. He is wanted for questioning. The criminal elements are beginning to realize Batman is a threat to them. Still widespread skepticism regarding his existence. And he has conflicting reports. Is he one man or many? From the GCPD files, suspect is believed to be responsible for multiple assaults against both criminals and law enforcement officials. Identity. Okay. I don't know how I flipped the T in my head. Identity of suspect currently unknown. May be a single individual or multiple individuals working together. Conflicting reports of suspect's physiology, okay, duh, idiot. Range from dark specter to large winged creature. Lack of photographic and forensic evidence makes it difficult to confirm or refute these claims. First sighting reported nearly 2 years ago, though frequency has recently increased. Multiple reports of suspect employing custom-built armored vehicle and unlicensed low-flying aircraft. Warning. Considered armed and extremely dangerous. Approach with extreme caution. Multiple outstanding warrants. Additional. Immediately notify desk officer and vigilante task force if suspect is cited or evidence obtained. Cool. So I wonder if Oracle ever finds out who Batman is. Because I'm pretty sure Oracle, even in the Batcave, says Batman instead of Bruce. Does she say Bruce? No, she says Bruce in City. I'm fairly certain she does. Bruce Wayne. Real name, obvious. His occupation is as a CEO of Wayne Industries. He's based in Gotham City. His eye color is blue and black. He's 6 feet tall and 2 inches. And he weighs 200 pounds. Huh. Kind of similar to Batman in a way. He is a billionaire heir to the Wayne Empire. He's a philanthropist and a playboy. He's a philanthropist? I thought he was stingy. For all of his public prestige, he is a private man who rarely discusses personal topics. From the GCPD files, Thomas and Martha Wayne were gunned down in an alley outside the Monarch Theater when Bruce Wayne was just a boy. He was raised by the Wayne family butler, Alfred Pennyworth, but disappeared in his late teens for several years. Upon his return to Gotham nearly 2 years ago, the sole surviving Wayne made an impression on the city with his philanthropy, as well as his aggressive reluctance to discuss exactly where he was or what he was doing during his time away. All reports indicate Wayne Industries and Wayne himself are inscrutable. Inscrutable? My mind is blanking on that. It's somewhere in there, but it's like blanking for some reason. But someone with this much power and influence should be watched closely. Alfred Pennyworth, best boy. Alfred Pennyworth is a butler. He is based in Gotham City. His eye color is blue, and his hair color is gray, but once was black. He is 6 feet tall. Oh, I thought he was like 5'10" at most. He is 170 pounds. A very skinny boy. Actually, he weighs as much as me, so... Is that skinny? Well, for a 6-foot person, or I might be overweight for a 5'10" person. 5'11"? I don't know. Longtime butler of the Wayne family. He is a legal guardian of Bruce Wayne in his youth, and he is a trusted friend and loyal companion. Yes, boy. Alfred claims to have been an accomplished actor before he signed on to the Wayne family, on to be the Wayne family butler. My God, my hair keeps falling in like the crevice between my eyelid and my brow bone. So like it gets like tucked in there and it keeps like wiggling. But records hint at a history with military intelligence. Being an actor could have been a cover, or acting could have just been a useful skill for an intelligence officer to have. For Alfred's part, he's not offering up details, but his extensive medical knowledge suggests he's more than a common thespian. Alfred is still having trouble accepting the reality of Bruce Wayne's double life and continues to push Bruce to give up his crusade for more mundane pursuits. Captain Gordon. Real name, James W. Gordon. His occupation is police captain. Captain Gordon. Gotcha. He is based in Gotham City. His eye color is blue. His hair color is brown, which I think later becomes gray. He is 6 feet tall and he weighs 180 pounds. Potentially one of Gotham's only honest cops. He is hard-nosed and by the book. The corruption within the GCPD is a threat to his career and potentially his life. Gordon has been appointed the head of the Vigilante Task Force. There's a hair on my lips now. My God. A Vigilante Task Force charged with bringing in the Batman. He is tasked, and he takes this job very seriously. Batman is no friend to the police, and he should tread with extreme caution when engaging with officers, particularly since many of them maintain criminal associations in the pay of Black Mask, Penguin, or worse. As yet, Gordon's record remains clean, but it remains to be seen if he can be trusted. Barbara Gordon. Barbara Gordon is a high school student. She's based in Gotham City. Her eye color is blue and her hair color is red. She is 5'2". I'm pretty sure if she stood in front of me, I could just put my head on top of her. She weighs 105. Well, she is still a high school student, so she might still be growing. What year is she in? She has an eidetic memory. She has an extensive knowledge of telecommunications, infrastructure, and network security. She is supportive of alternate forms of law enforcement. I was looking for alternative, but that's not what I was reading. She's also a hacker. Barbara is the daughter of GCPD Captain James Gordon. At barely 15, she has a remarkably mature understanding of the way this city works and the corruption that flows through it. She is one of the few who seems to understand Batman's goals and supports his efforts. She's only 15 right now? Damn. The zealousness with which she tries to expose corruption could get her into trouble one day. Oh. Then she ends up paralyzed because fucking Joker, asshole. She should be watched carefully for her own safety. Vicky Vale. She should stay away a bit. She can be trusted for the news, but she should also stay away from getting herself hurt. She's the one I would suspect that would end up paralyzed, not Barbara. Her real name is Vicky Vale. She's an investigative journalist. She's based in Gotham City. Her eye color is blue. Her hair color is blonde. She's 5'7", and she weighs 121 pounds. A young reporter seeking to make a name for herself. She's fixated on Bruce Wayne and telling his story. Vale's stories often attack corrupt officials head-on. That is, when she can get the stories by her editor. While a noble sentiment, the people she targets don't take kindly to being thrust into the public eye. She could find herself in trouble if she doesn't find a more subtle way to do her job. Still, it's admirable to see a journalist unafraid to expose the truth in a city defined by corruption and lies. Gotham needs more people like her. I wonder who is writing all of this stuff. Alberto Falcone. His occupation is a professional criminal. He's based in Gotham City. His eye color is dark brown. I've never seen that description for an eye color. Dark brown. His hair color is black. He's 5'8", and he weighs 150 pounds. He is the son of mob boss Carmine Falcone, and he has medical records, and his medical records indicate history of mental illness. Oh. Okay. The Falcones are one of Gotham's most powerful crime families. Carmine Falcone has ruled his part of the city for years, but has started losing ground to newcomers Black Mask and Cobblepot. Still, the Falcone family remains active throughout Gotham, posing a threat to the safety and security of its citizens. We listened through all the tapes. And now Cyrus Pinkney. He's an architect. He's based in Gotham City. His eye and hair color are both brown. He was 5'10", and he weighs 165 pounds. I was gonna stick with was, but I'm not sure if he's actually dead because I don't know the timing of all these events. Visionary architect from Gotham's early industrial age, he worked with Solomon Wade to help build Gotham's biggest landmark. Sorry, I'm yawning, but after a while, reading starts to get to me like that. Cyrus Pinkney is an architect who lived during the mid-1800s, and died on the eve of his 40th birthday. Did he? He is responsible for designing many iconic Gotham buildings and saw them constructed with the financial backing of Judge Solomon Wayne, who was inspired when he saw Pinkney's plans for the city. Both men believed in the power of the designs to strive out malevolence, but many consider Pinkney's style to be dark, dreary, and grotesque. Huh. So, Pinkney just had a hard-on for Gothic architecture. That's it. So, if you don't like it, get out. It's his choice. Bane. His real name, completely unknown. Occupation, it's just a fugitive. He's based in South America. Huh. I believe, the last time we read, where he was based in, I think it said Brazil? Or maybe he was mobile at that point. His eye color is brown, but when on Venom, green. His hair color is brown, and his estimated height is 7'5", and his estimated weight is 500+ pounds. Huh. He has supreme strength and agility combined with the mind of a master tactician. He seems dependent on a substance delivery system. Might be his possible weakness. Bane is a fugitive wanted by the government of Santa Prisca following a prison break from Peña Duro. While no records have been found to substantiate this, rumors allege Bane was born and raised within the prison walls, a seemingly impossible feat in the all-male penitentiary. Oh. Okay. Bane is believed to be traveling with a large group of his fellow escapees. Most notable is his chief subordinate, Bird. I just thought about it. If it's an all-male penitentiary, does that mean that all males are also watching over them? Bane is rumored to have a superhuman size and strength. Most believe this to be a result of his abuse of performance-enhancing drugs, including the popular narcotic Venom. Combined with a keen mind, this makes Bane an extreme threat. Yes, considering he breaks my fucking back. Copperhead. Her real name is completely unknown. Her occupation is a contract killer. She's based from South America. Her hair color is yellow. Her eye color is yellow, and her hair color is blonde. Huh. She's 5'10" and weighs 145 pounds. Tattooing suggests Central American gang membership. Huh, okay. She's a master escape artist. Was she, an escape artist for, magic? Abnormal physiology allows for unnatural contortions. May be one of the larger group operating under the same name. So Copperhead is a group name as well? Oh, that would explain why there's, like, male, like, knowledge already. Like, I was thinking maybe she's transgender, or maybe, like, it's supposed to be more snake-like. Because I know that there's frogs that can change their, gender if need be for repopulation purposes. Like, the human race is the only species on the planet that can willingly, because we're the only animals on the planet that have a sense of will as well, that can willingly change their gender through surgery, as well as just gender dystrophia, I think is the proper diagnosis. I don't know. Records indicate Copperhead is an alias used by hitmen working for Central and Southern American drug cartels. But this Copperhead is clearly female. This could indicate that the name Copperhead is... Oh, okay, yeah. I guess it's my fault for just letting it sit. This could indicate that the name Copperhead is actually a title or label for an underworld organization. Either way, Copperhead seems capable of escaping nearly all forms of confinement. Kill techniques range from strangulation and crushed bones to acute toxicity resulting in death. Okay. So my transgender thing and like actually transitioning is completely wrong. This is just a woman. Okay. Well, I can't rule out the transgender thing. Deadshot. His real name is Floyd Lawton. He was originally a mercenary before he was captured. He's completely mobile. His eye color is blue. His hair color is brown. He's 6'1" and he weighs 200 pounds. Nearly everything the same as Batman except for an inch. He's a master marksman. He was once part of the military, specifically background redacted. Oh, his specific background has been redacted. He has a reckless attitude which suggests mental instability. Yes, considering he almost takes his life. Or he tries to, actually. He is among the best sharpshooters in the world. Lawton was a lethal military sniper with a long list of assassinations. But according to his records, he often takes unnecessary risks or makes his plans... Excuse me, I don't know what was up with my voice. Or makes his plan unnecessarily complex. Perhaps this is why he was discharged from service and took up mercenary work. Though his military record is mostly redacted, his psychological profile suggests he harbors deep feelings of guilt regarding his accidental murder of his own brother. Was that in the last thing that we read about him? I didn't know that he accidentally murdered his brother. Wait, what do you mean by accidental murder? Huh. Deathstroke. Real name, Slade Wilson. Occupation, mercenary. He's mobile. His eye color is blue. His hair color is gray. He's a bit of an older gentleman. He's 6'5". Damn. And he weighs 225 pounds. He's medically enhanced physical and mental abilities. Wow. He's a master of multiple combat techniques. He has a strategic mind, and he's missing his right eye. Oh. Huh. I just thought it was like a fashion choice. Wilson was an accomplished member of the Special Forces. This distinction earned him admittance into a covert program where he was subjected to extensive mental and physical augmentation. The procedures left him with the increased mental function as well as enhanced speed, strength, and stamina. Though much of his file is redacted, it appears that Slade was eventually discharged from the military, though the exact circumstances are not specified. He has since taken up work as a mercenary. His augmentations, coupled with his mastery of hand-to-hand combat, make him a formidable opponent. Okay, so it did come back on. Shit, no, I didn't... Fuck. I didn't finish reading. If it dies one more time, I'll switch controls. Fuck, I did it again. taking up work as a mercenary. His augmentations, coupled with his mastery of hand-to-hand combat, makes him a formidable opponent. Possibly one of the most dangerous Batman has ever, or will ever, face. He didn't seem too special. There was nothing about his eye. Was he born without his right eye? Or what? The electrocutioner, who's now dead, so I'm going to use was, or used to, a lot. His real name was Lester Baczynski. His occupation was a pit fighter. He was in Gotham City. His eye color was brown. His hair color was brown. He was 6'4", and he weighed 225 pounds. Okay, there it goes. Alright, I'm getting out the other controller. Excuse me. Turns out this thing wasn't plugged in last night, so that explains why. There we go. He is street tough out to make... What? Street tough out to make a name for himself. Maybe those were supposed to be two different things. I'm not sure. He has surprising skill in electrical engineering. Oh, he built those himself? Wow. But he also used to have a big mouth. I forgot to include the word was. He was more brains than brawn in the initial assessment of Baczynski, but he has been able to create some kind of custom-made weaponized gloves that pack a powerful electrical discharge. The craftsmanship suggests that there is more going on between the ears than the sound of his own boasting, though he may have had help constructing them. Perhaps even he had them made by someone else. His arrogance and overconfidence are his weakness. Yeah, considering I knocked him out in the first go. Firefly. His real name is Garfield Linz. He is a pyrotechnics expert. Doesn't really have a base at all. His eye color is brown, and his hair color is gone. He has no hair at all, but it was brown at one point. He's 5'11", and he weighs 165 pounds. He is an obsessive compulsive pyromaniac. He has multiple instances of severe burns all over his body, and he utilizes custom-made I don't know. His flamethrower, jetpack, and incendiary grenades. There we go. Linz has specialized knowledge of incendiary devices, yet often gets burned by the fires he's creating. What little in his medical records suggests he does not seek treatment for the pain. It seems to invoke a pleasure response in him. Ew. This is a dangerous combination. His obsession with fire is driving him to take even larger risks, and if he is not stopped, he's going to destroy himself and potentially much of the city with him. Well, we've already seen that, but... Yeah, we've already seen the latter, but the former seems to just randomly happen sometimes. Killer Croc. I'm not gonna say, like, his real name is... he just is Waylon Jones. He was just born with his birth defect. He's a career criminal. He is based in Gotham City. His eye color is yellow, and he has no hair color at all. Did I say eye for yellow? I'm not sure. He is 9 feet tall. 9 feet, 8 inches tall, and he weighs over 850 pounds. He is an instinctual hunter with heightened senses, and he has a dynamic physiology. Appearance continually changes. Cool. Medical records class Jones as suffering from a rare form of epidermolytic hyperkeratosis. Epidermolytic. I don't know. It just means that his skin is different. It normally causes skin to scale. But there's more to Jones than that. It's true that his skin has grown dense enough to repel gunfire, but that doesn't explain the rest of the changes. His size, sense of smell, unexplained dental eruptions, and warped digits. Huh. I guess I'll need to check out his fingers back in the recordings. The degree to which he has been affected is remarkable and suggests that this may actually be a form of atavism. Atavism? I don't know. That simply resembles hyperkeratosis. It may also be the study of intentional genetic manipulation. Further study is required. Regardless of their origin, his strength and ferocity make him an immense physical threat. Huh. Okay. So, before his, full birth, people are speculating that maybe he was manipulated to be like this, to be a killer croc, to which he was bullied for being crocodilian. Yeah, crocodilian, and it's kind of sad. Wouldn't you think you'd want a friend like that? It's completely different from you. Shiva. Her real name, completely unknown. I thought her name actually was Shiva. Her occupation, assassin. But we don't know where she was based in. Well, I know exactly where she's based in, right under our feet. Her eye color is brown, her hair color is black. She's 5'7" and weighs 135 pounds. She's a martial arts grandmaster? Damn. She's an unmatched skill in hand-to-hand combat. Police records are thin, but indications are that Shiva is a highly trained and extremely dangerous assassin. Rumor is that she selects many of her targets simply to test her skills. There are no known survivors from these encounters. The threat she represents cannot be underestimated. Exactly. You underestimate her, you die. Roman Sionis, or Black Mask, he is a crime lord in Gotham City. Both his hair and eye color are brown, and he is 6 feet 1 inch tall. He's 6'1", I should say. And he weighs 195 pounds. You know what? I just noticed they got rid of the first Instance comic. I missed that. He runs the largest organized crime operation in Gotham City. Members of his members of his organization wear black masks to conceal their identities. Most members are also employees of Sionis' legitimate businesses. He makes extensive use of torture techniques to satisfy his sadistic appetites. Ugh. Roman Sionis is one of Gotham's most powerful crime lords, though thus far he has managed to avoid conviction. He maintains several legitimate businesses, though many are believed to be fronts for illegal operations. Notable businesses in his portfolio include Janus Cosmetics, Gotham Merchants Bank, and the now defunct Sionis Steelworks. Sionis has been charged with embezzling city funds, murder, racketeering, distribution of illegal narcotics, and other offenses, but never convicted. Oh, that's right, he pays off the cops. Witnesses for the prosecution have known to recant, die, or disappear. He owns half of the police officers in Gotham, along with several judges and city councilors. Jesus Christ, this guy's everywhere. Those he can't buy, he intimidates with torture or eliminates. That guy's just, evil. Oswald C. Cobblepot, or the Penguin. He's a professional black market racketeer. I don't know why I said professional. He's based in Gotham City. Well, not really. He's based in New Gotham, really. Well, no, he sends all of his guns to Gotham City. Yeah, okay. His eye color is blue. His hair color is black. He's 4'10", and he weighs 175 pounds. He's the up-and-coming crime boss. He has an extensive underworld connections, and he is cunning, and paranoia make him difficult foe to nail down. The Penguin operates a black market on his modified luxury liner, The Final Offer. Cobblepot is tapped into Gotham's underworld like no other. If there's a deal going on somewhere in the city, Cobblepot knows about it, and is probably involved in some way. He is careful about maintaining a low profile when it comes to his gang's dealings, which makes him difficult to pin to this criminal activity directly on him. I'm struggling to read, I don't know why. While he doesn't offer much in the way of physical threat, he does carry concealed weapons and keeps a large number of his thugs around to protect him. Did he ever shoot me with his umbrella gun at all? I don't know if he did. Anarchy. His real name? Unknown, but he's just a kid. His occupation is a political activist. He's based in Gotham City, and we don't know his eye or hair color. He's blonde. We saw it. What? He's 5'6" and he weighs 145 pounds. I'm pretty sure his eye color is blue as well. He's a self-titled voice of the people. He's an extremist who will do anything to achieve his goals. He sees corporations and governments as enemies that must be destroyed. Growing and following among youth and disillusioned. Shit, there was a third thing. Anarchy wants to purge Gotham of corruption, but his methods involve wanton? I've never seen that before. Destruction. His idealism is matched with a self-importance that makes reasoning with him nearly impossible. He needs to be dealt with physically and imprisoned to keep the city safe. Should be approached with caution. I mean, he didn't really seem like a threat. It's just a kid who thinks he's better than everybody. Angel Bird Valalunga. Huh. He's Bane's lieutenant. That's it. He's based in South America. His eye color is brown and his hair color is black. Well, we can base that off of the beard. He's 6'2" and he weighs 215 pounds. One of the many prisoners who escaped Pina Duro with Bane's help. He has training in knife fighting and the use of explosives. He's unshakable loyalty to Bane. There's more to read. Like Bane, Bird has no criminal record prior to his incarceration. Though records of Pina Duro are sketchy at best, they contain no mention of a Bird alias. His admission and incarceration paperwork appear to have been lost. Unless, of course, there is truth to the rumors that he was born and raised inside the prison, like Bane. Huh. So this goes much deeper than I thought. I thought it was just Bane. But this is more. Since his escape, Bird has been responsible for all kinds of heinous crimes committed at the behest of his master. This is a man who will obey any order without question and lay down his life without a second thought. In short, a fanatic. And a very dangerous one because of it. The Mad Hatter, otherwise known as Jervis Tetch. He's a clothing retailer. I don't think we ever saw that before. He's based in Gotham City. His eye color is blue and his hair color is red. He's 4'11" and he weighs 115 pounds. He is delusional. He is obsessive. He has a knowledge of mind-controlling chemicals and devices. Records suggest he has tenuous grasp on reality. And he's a former neurologist. He made it quite far. While not a physical threat, Tetch's research into brain chemistry and hypnotism make him a menace to the unsuspecting. Tetch's name is listed in connection with several cold cases and appears on many watch lists. Law enforcement seems to be waiting for him to take the next step. He has an unhealthy fixation with Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and believes himself to be the character from the book. Yep. Calendar Man, which we saw a very short glimpse of in the first few minutes of this. Has he been kept in no, there's no way that he was kept in like the jail cell of like the Solomon Wayne courthouse up until City, because that's like 8 years until Asylum and then a year and a half, I think, after that. Julian Gregory Day, otherwise known as Calendar Man, is a fugitive and nothing more. He's based in Gotham City. His eye color is blue and he has no hair. But at one point he did have brown hair. He's 5'9" and he weighs 215 pounds. I was about to say 512. He is an obsessive compulsive psychotic. He's convicted of multiple murders and sentenced to die on Christmas Eve. Die? I didn't know that he had the death penalty. Was that mentioned in the beginning? Sentencing judge was Fremont Harkness. Why do I remember that name? That name sounds familiar. Does he end up killing that guy, too? Julian Day, a.k.a. Gotham's calendar killer, a.k.a. Calendar Man, was brought to justice, thanks to Batman's diligence in apprehending the killer. Many were surprised by Judge Harkness's decision to give Day the death penalty despite the state labeling him criminally insane. Julian Day was set free just minutes before his scheduled execution on Christmas Eve during the break-in at Blackgate Prison that saw Police Commissioner Loeb murdered. That's why he's still alive. While it is unlikely Calendar Man was involved in with the assassins or the bounty, he remains a threat to this city, particularly given his obsession with dates and holidays. Yeah, I'd say so. Ricky Loose Lips LeBlanc. His real name is Richard LeBlanc. Kind of reminds me of Matt LeBlanc, person who plays Joey on Friends. He's an arms dealer. He's based in Gotham City. His eye color is blue. His hair color is brown. He's 6'3" and weighs 222 pounds. 220 pounds, excuse me. Like most bullies, he breaks when faced with someone stronger. LeBlanc has mid-level connections all over the city. He could be a potential informant given his contacts, and he works for Oswald Cobblepot. Then why is he called Loose Lips if he's a good informant? LeBlanc was a small-time gun runner who fell in with Penguin's crew and now works exclusively for Cobblepot. LeBlanc conducts arms deals with various buyers and sellers all over the city. He fancies himself a comedian and a ladies' man, but he's nothing more than a common criminal, who should be behind bars. Damn, he's nothing special. Enigma. His real name? Unknown. Ah, you kidding me? It's Edward Nigma. Are you stupid? Occupation, professional criminal. Based in Gotham City. We know nothing about his eye color, his hair color, his height, or his weight. Huh. He's of incredible intellect, but also highly insecure. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. He has a compulsive need to prove his superiority, and he's a master hacker. Enigma seems able to defeat almost all forms of network security. Batman's own network is under threat of attack, and steps must be taken to ensure no future incursions. If he was able to access the Batcomputer, there's no telling how much damage he could do. Fortunately, his insecurities cause him to act out. The more he draws attention to himself, the easier he becomes to track down and take out. Huh. Now the last row. And it's been 40 minutes of reading. Real name, Gillian B. Loeb, for Commissioner Loeb. He's the GCPD commissioner for Gotham City. He has brown eyes. He has gray hair. He's 5'7" and he weighs 210 pounds. He's a slick but deeply corrupt police commissioner. He is potentially untouchable. No, he's alleged to have connections to Gotham's major crime families. Damn. As much politician as a policeman, Gillian Loeb is a blight on Gotham. He runs the city like a criminal kingpin, and the police under his command are used as personal enforcers. He's particularly close with the Lieutenant Brandon and his shoot-first SWAT teams. Ouch. Under Loeb's watch, the city has experienced relative peace between the various crime families. This peace has allowed them to exploit and extort the citizens who live and work on their turf. As long as Loeb remains in power, so too will the kingpins. So that's why they had to remove him. Well, technically it was supposed to be like a backstab from Black Mask, which actually turns out to be Joker, and Joker's just doing it to rile everything up. Warden Joseph. His real name is Warden Joseph. Close enough to Martini. He's Blackgate prison warden. He's based in Gotham City. His eye color is dark brown, and his hair color is black. He's 5'11". I've been waiting for this stupid yawn. I was like reading based in Gotham City, and I was waiting for that to come out. He weighs 195 pounds. Rumored to be more concerned with the politics of his office than his responsibilities. He's a family man. And no known associations with criminal elements. Good. But isn't he a bit, like, weird? He's a career prison administrator. Yeah. Though Joseph has a degree in criminology and spent a short time in police administration, he has never worked a beat or done time as a prison guard, excuse me. He was hired because of his administration abilities and tasked with finding ways to increase prison profitability. While he's experienced some degree of success, it has come at a cost. The number of inmates has ballooned while maintenance expenditures have been cut, causing the facility to fall into despair and disrepute. There are more and more guards on the payroll of Black Mask and the Penguin, and the prison has become a haven for criminals and criminal activity. It should be noted that Joseph himself does not appear to have any criminal ties. He is simply trying to do the job he was hired to do. Huh. Okay. Brandon. His real name is Howard Brandon, and he's a GCPD SWAT lieutenant. And he is the whole reason for shoot first, ask questions later. He's based in Gotham City. And his eye color is blue, and his hair color is brown. He's 6'3" and weighs 230 pounds. He is a trigger-happy leader of GCPD's feared tactical unit. He commonly extorts and intimidates criminals and innocents. He's one of the dirtiest cops on the force. He's a skilled marksman, though, proven tactically in combative skills. Brandon represents everything that's wrong with the GCPD. He's on the take from nearly every major criminal syndicate in town and preys on the weak by extorting money through intimidation. He was Loeb's protege, right? Like, I know there's prodigy, and then there's protege, and then I know that some people can actually pronounce protege as prodigy as well, and I'm like, that's a different word. It's spelled completely differently. But I'm saying protege. Now, he was Loeb's protege but with Loeb gone, Brandon will be looking to secure his promotion through other means. He's not in the running for commissioner, but he will be certain to make sure that the next one maintains the arrangement Loeb established. Ugh. I hate you. Harvey Bullock. He's a police detective. He's based in Gotham City. Both his eye and hair color are brown. He's 6'1" and weighs 295 pounds. And his eyes look angry. He's quick to judge, and he doesn't hesitate to use his strength to brutalize suspects. Jesus Christ. He loves his job. Having power over people makes him feel good about himself. He seems conflicted where Gordon is concerned. Huh. Kind of reminds me of, what's his name? The brother-in-law of Walter White in Breaking Bad. Bill? That doesn't sound right. Oh well. Bullock is typically, of most of the GCPD officers, he's on the take. Oh, I read that wrong in my head. Bullock is typical of most of the GCPD officers. Jesus Christ. He's on the take and uses his position of authority to his advantage. However, careful examination of his record and recent activities suggests he does not follow the law when dealing with civilians. Perhaps there's hope yet for Harvey. What? Perhaps there's hope yet with Harvey. With the right motivation and direction, he could turn out to be a good cop, but for now he should be considered just as dirty as any other GCPD officer. Okay. I don't know about that. Candy. Her real name is unknown. Okay. Her occupation is Penguin's assistant. I wonder if the blonde one's gonna have her real name. I don't know. Her eye color is brown. Her hair color is black. She's 5'8", and she weighs 135 pounds. She's using Penguin for income. She has a criminal. Her criminal record exists only in association with Penguin, and she has a potential for rehabilitation. That's good, so she can be fixed. Candy was raised on the streets, but managed to pull herself up and earn a business degree. Damn, nice. Unfortunately, lean times and contracting job market caused her to fall in with Penguin's crowd. Oh, she's really only doing it for money. Okay, the recession has driven many well-educated people to the desperate action to support themselves, but that's no excuse for criminal behavior. Her crimes are minor, however, making her an excellent candidate for rehabilitation. Okay, I'll trust you. Tracy seems sketchy, though. Oh, no, her real name actually is Tracy Buxton. She's also one of Penguin's assistants. Her eye color is brown. Her hair color is blonde. She's 5'8" and weighs 130 pounds. She's streetwise and tough, in a mid-level leadership position. What? Tracy's earned her status in Penguin's operation, owing it to a tough-as-nails, no-nonsense attitude. Penguin uses her to keep his crew in line when he's not around. It's not clear why she would have fallen in with Cobblepot. It's likely that the two met while he was living abroad. Perhaps he's grooming her to take over his operation someday. While she represents only a minimal physical threat, she is dangerous as anyone else who picks up a gun and is willing to use it. Okay, so Tracy's not as redeemable. I like Candy. Shit, moved it too far. Harleen Quinzel. Her real name, Harleen F. Quinzel. She's a psychiatrist intern. She's based in Gotham City, and her eye color is blue. Her hair color is blonde. She's 5'7" and weighs 140 pounds. She has a keen interest in the criminal mind. She's an intern at Blackgate Prison, and she's the most senior medical staff member working on December 24th. And she's only an intern? Yikes. Quinzel is finishing up her psychology residency at Blackgate Prison. It seems odd that a student would try to work at a facility that has little desire to rehabilitate its inmates, but perhaps her interest in the criminal mind will bear fruit. Oh, they'll bear more than fruit. And then the Joker. Little is known about him except for his green hair, green eyes. He's 6'1" and weighs 165 pounds. He is a psychopath. He is highly intelligent, though, but he's very unpredictable. I prepared for muggers, killers, thieves, criminals increasingly extreme in their methods and personality, but I never imagined someone like the Joker. There is no information on him in any criminal database. As far as records go, it's as if he stepped out of thin air. He appears to be highly intelligent, I was reading the next lines. Okay. He appears to be highly resourceful psychopath with a sadistic intelligence who delights in causing chaos, destruction, and human suffering. Skilled with explosives and firearms, he displays personality traits consistent with criminal insanity, though his mental instability did not hinder his ability to infiltrate and take over Black Mask's criminal organization. His capacity for wanton destruction makes him a threat to the entire city. I'm pretty sure that's how I'm supposed to read it, back for Anarchy's thing. He must be stopped. And that's everything for the profiles in the database. Now on to the Gotham Intel. This is the only thing that I have to read. And did I not let people read that one? Oops. Okay. Old Gotham Cathedral. Pinkney. This old Gotham Cathedral was designed by Cyrus Pinkney with the financial backing of Judge Solomon Wayne. The judge was a religious man, and erecting the church was among the first architectural projects he and Pinkney worked on together. Once complete, it became a centerpiece of the growing city. Though the cathedral was well received, and though he was certainly happy with the result, Pinkney would be quick to point out that his other projects had a more broad appeal amongst Gotham's citizenry. For Solomon, the church was one of the proudest life accomplishments. He was often invited to give guest sermons from the pulpit and was happy to oblige. The force of his deep, bellowing voice was said to compel confessions from even the most hardened criminals within earshot, and to keep folk who might otherwise be tempted into wickedness on the straight and narrow, for fear of having the voice unleashed on them. Huh. Okay. Solomon Wayne Courthouse. Statue. The statue was erected in honor of George Solomon Wayne. Solomon was a force for justice in a corrupt city. He worked with Cyrus Pinkney, helping Cyrus realize his architectural dreams for Gotham, while furthering his own agenda of making Gotham a fortress of Christian piety. Huh. Okay. Solomon Wayne was known as a harsh judge, almost always sentencing criminals to the maximum penalty allowed by the law. However, with his other hand, he was merciful to the needy and sought to create facilities and programs to help Gotham's less fortunate. These actions made him loved by the Gotham citizens and victims of crime. But equally hated by... Oh, okay, I was misreading it in my head. Loved by the Gotham citizens and victims of crime, but equally hated by Gotham's criminals. Yeah, I can understand why. Jezebel Mall, a pioneer's statue. Scandinavian settlers arrived on these islands in the mid-1600s and labored through harsh winters to build the foundations of Gotham City. There are many tales about what these settlers endured, from encounters with mythical beings to fights over Native American burial grounds. Much of Gotham's early history had been garnered through folklore passed down orally during those first trying years. Eventually, the British took over the settlement. While Cyrus Pinkney and Solomon Wayne sought to construct a Gotham that was a fortress against evil and corruption, Cyrus also drew upon the story of these pioneers who persevered against all manner of hardships and stayed true to their vision of making a life for themselves in the New World. Solomon saw their plight as an allegory for his own religious existence. So it seems that Solomon Wayne wasn't as separation of church and state as he should have been. Gotham Rail. From a business perspective, construction of the rail yard was one of Henry Cobblepot's smartest projects. Nearly all goods flowing into or out of Gotham by sea went through the yard. Control of the yard was one of the main reasons for Cobblepot's economic success. Cyrus resisted this project in favor of other more artistic and civic structures, but Cobblepot insisted that as an industrial part of Gotham, the rail yard was of supreme importance. Excuse me. He refused his financial backing of other projects until Cyrus and Solomon finally agreed to his terms. The rail yard still sees plenty of port traffic, but accusations of corruption abound, and most consider the yard a dangerous place frequented by gangsters and other unsavory elements. The yard was recently purchased by Amertech, a global shipping and logistics firm. I don't think I realized how much reading I would have to do for this section, but I've done it before. Whereas opera was this is the Jezebel Theater, by the way. Whereas opera was for the elite, theater was for the common man. A common man himself, Cyrus built the Jezebel Theater as a center for the entertainment of the masses. While always a popular spot, the theater has seen its share of troubled times, particularly during the Depression. To make ends meet, the owners sold their rooftop space to the GCR company. For one of their radio tower installations. The people of Gotham consider the tower an eyesore and say that Cyrus Pinkney is rolling in his grave. Cyrus might take solace that people are at least still enjoying his theater over a century after its construction. Yeah, Pioneer's Bridge. When Solomon Wayne proposed building a bridge off the southern end of the island, even Cyrus was shocked. At the time, there were few settlements south of the city, save for Wayne Manor, which was still under construction. City Council called it a bridge to nowhere. And yet Solomon persisted and used his considerable influence to get the permits he required. The concept of building this bridge was so ludicrous, even Solomon's arch-rival, Henry Cobblepot, gave it his approval. Cyrus convinced Solomon to make this bridge a historic monument to the Scandinavian pioneers who first founded the city, and adorned the bridge with massive statues depicting the hardships those first settlers endured in this new world. Oh, makes sense why they would call it New Gotham as well. In the end, Solomon's vision was validated as the bridge made new land accessible and businesses thrived in the south end of the town. New Gotham saw rapid growth and became the home of Gotham Rail yards, and soon became the industrial and financial heart of the thriving city. Cyrus Pinkney School of the Arts. A city is like an organism, constantly evolving. There was once a building here, a school for the arts. While Solomon Wayne was a practical man, concerned with reading, writing, and arithmetic, Cyrus recognized that these practical skills became most useful when applied to creative expression. And so, his school was built to teach children the power of their imagination. There are some strange tales of the odd projects that came from the students at the school, including one where a student project went horribly wrong. There was a fire and several students died or were badly burned. Some blamed the students, some blamed the instructors. Regardless of where the blame lay, Henry Cobblepot used the tragedy to have the school shut down after Cyrus Pinkney's death. Cobblepot then bulldozed down the site and built apartment housing. Crypt of Cyrus Pinkney. Cyrus Pinkney, January 12th, 1815 to January 11th, 1855. Here lies Cyrus Pinkney, the visionary architect who raised this fair city from its humble origins into greatness. Who knows to what greater feats he could have accomplished had he not perished at the peak of his talent. Gotham and the world are made poorer by his untimely demise. The people of Gotham honor our favored son with this monument to his work and offer the thanks of a grateful city. Oh, excuse me. Furniture Company. Anarchy. The Furniture Company. A global conglomerate of user-assembled furnishing distributors. I don't know why I tried reading it as Anarchy. Globalization means the people must compete for wages with all markets, including those that force children to labor. The right-wing pundits wonder we are not competitive, why the middle class is evaporating. Why would a furniture company pay an honest wage to a skilled worker to make a quality product when they can pay mere pennies to a child to make a product of less quality, but which consumers will buy because they have no choice? Yes, disposable furniture from disposable people, and you can throw them both away for a new model every few years. That's business. I actually kind of like reading it as like a full Anarchy thing. The Waynes. Gotham royalty and their sole surviving prince, Bruce Wayne. Born into advantage for generations, this family has tried to blind us with generosity, but their generosity does not mask their extreme guilt from pillaging the city in years past. How does one family get so rich? On the back of a worker. Perhaps there wouldn't be so many orphans if the Waynes paid their workers fairly for their labor. And they could save on all their donations or to orphanages. Did Bruce Wayne invent these products? Did he sweat on the assembly line to create them? No. He just paid himself tens, hundreds, and thousands of times what he pays his workers, and then pats himself on the back of his ingenuity. Charity simply allows him to feel good about himself, makes him feel like he's helping these poor souls who can't fend for themselves while he sips his champagne and eats his foie gras. Thank you. Why did I say thank you? I was gonna say there we go, and then it came out thank you. What the hell? If only he'd pay them fairly, they wouldn't need his charity. Perhaps Mr. Wayne should read a little of Abraham Lincoln. Labor is prior to and independent of capital. Capital is only the fruit of labor, and could never have existed if labor had not first existed. Labor is the superior capital, and deserves much more higher consideration. Soda Cola. A refreshing beverage? Oh, yes. And don't forget to wash it down with the obesity and diabetes. This corporation ran advertisements in the 70s that read, "If sugar makes you fat, then why are so many kids thin?" Believe it. They promoted the natural goodness of sugar that gives the consumer a sense of satisfaction and well-being. They left out what it does to your teeth, your health, and its addictive effects on your brain. They actually want you to believe that sugar is good for you. Big Tobacco lied to us. Do you really think Big Sugar is any different? Open your eyes to see what you're really consuming, corporate feces. Oh, to see what you're really consuming, corporate feces. I genuinely do like reading it as like this character. Trident Labs. We make industrial solvents and lubricants to move the machine. This almost doesn't sound like him. We make industrial solvents and lubricants to move the machinery of our industrial society. It's a fitting slogan for a company from 50 years ago. Today, our industrial centers are collapsing, left abandoned in the wake of the mass exodus of the business to the foreign shores. Thank you, globalization, for opening up new markets for our multinationals to sell our American-made products. Unfortunately, these products are no longer made by American workers. The American workers are laid off from their jobs, laden with debt, and made homeless when the bankers foreclose on the homes they can no longer afford. And how are they rewarded? They're called lazy, delinquent, moochers by the people who have sent their jobs overseas. When we come for them, they will run for those same shores to escape our wrath. But like the multinational corporation, the workers know no borders, for we are everywhere. Lacey Towers. Voltaire says that the comfort of the rich demands an abundance of the poor. If that's true, then the residents of Lacey Towers are very, very comfortable. It's the home of Fasco capitalists and criminals. Most of these suites are empty. Do you know why? Because their owners live in mansions all over the country. They keep their condos for friends and entertainment, for a place to stay on the odd time that they visit our fair city. There are people in the alleys around the building that sleep in paper boxes, and these bourgeois bastards can afford to spend millions on luxury condos that they don't even need. What have they done that is so deserving of this affluence, that they may live in such sick opulence, while those of us slave under them and must beg for their charity to feed ourselves? We will tear them down while they scream on their superiority. GCPD New Gotham Precinct. Corporate interests run our government, and their enforcers live here. These men and women are workers, sworn to protect the weak and innocent. And yet, when we stand against the oppression, corruption, and when we peacefully speak out against these corporations, bulldozing our commons, illegally searching us without cause, and they answer with us with riot gear, shields, batons, and tear gas. When peaceful protest is met with violence, we will match their violence tenfold. And these traitors to democracy and freedom, these Templars of the rights our forefathers fought and died for, these automatons of the corrupt state will finally have their eyes open to the truth. I can definitely see why Anarchy was like a big come up, because he has a way with words trying to weed them in. He's a definite earworm. Gotham City Royal Hotel. This hotel serves as a playground for our corporate masters, where a one-night stay costs more than the average worker brings home in a month. They must feel like they raise themselves up high enough, they will escape our anger. Or perhaps they think that the stench of the street will not reach them in their lofty rooms. They look down on us. We will rise up and tear them down. In this den of inequity, the elite have been caught in sex, drugs, and racketeering scandals. Over the hotel's history, no fewer than 17 city councilors, 3 mayors, 8 senators, and a governor have been caught in some kind of criminal activity. But you won't hear about this in the Daily because the elite have servants, bribed to cover up scandals, and dump bodies. And you wonder why the the light in the windows covered up the word tolerates all their mob activity. The man on the street caught with illicit narcotics goes away for 5, 10, 20 years, but the city councilor caught with 2 dead strippers gets a rigged election. Well, that makes him mayor. And the 2 girls? They get a burial at sea and their names wiped from history. We can't bring those girls back, but we can send them some company. Hamilton Hill. Our dutiful mayor, Hamilton Hill, made his money in insurance. That is, by making promises to pay people when they were in need, and then making excuses not to pay them at all. Isn't that just a Ponzi scheme? And yet he is not... Well, a Ponzi scheme is saying that you make a bank, have investment, get paid, have no money to back it up when people try to get their money out, by using other people's money that have already invested in the bank, and then that's just there. There's no interest. That's a Ponzi scheme. And yet, he is not branded a thief, a fraudster. No, he's elected mayor. Now, he's free to raid our city coffers to pay for whatever projects his masters deem worthy. Masters like Rupert Thorne, and he thinks the people are not watching. We know what he did with those 2 girls at the Gotham Rail. Oh, so this is the same person. Okay, I didn't know that it was the same mayor. Okay. And we will bring it into the light for all to see. We're getting close near the end. Gotham City News. Balanced and fair, they say. Presenting what Jack Ryder calls both sides of every argument. Okay, so this guy actually is on my side. I do not like Jack Ryder. Sure, when his side comes from made-up corporate messaging meant to convince us that the words like liberty, justice, and truth still have meaning, and the other side is some barely intelligent shill, it's an insulting joke. I think that he'd actually, getting past, the superiority complex and not being able to be reasoned with. I genuinely think that, get rid of the superiority complex and maybe a little bit of age difference, that he'd actually get really well with Vicky Vale. They frame their stories in a way to mask their fascist agenda and use intimidation, intellectual dishonesty, and loud-mouthing to squash any who try to point out the fallacy of their arguments. They blame immigrants. They blame criminals. They blame everyone but the corporations who pay their salaries. The Fourth Estate has been replaced by the machinery of propaganda and now exists only as a tool to keep the people ignorant. Actually, I do wonder what he thinks of Vicky Vale. Gotham City Cinema. Probably if, you were to have, a discussion with him about, the news, he'd be like, I hate, what was that guy's name? Jack Ryder and everything that he stands for, what he lies with, how he's paid off. And then somebody just asks a question, what do you think of Vicky Vale? She's good. Just something like that, off to the side. Gotham City Cinema. Come one, come all to pay homage to our plastic pantheon of demigods. You may not touch, only watch. No, their glorious image will be projected on a big screen while they spout tripe and dreck. They are presented to you larger than life to ensure that you realize that you are just a small, insignificant, and powerless mortal in the shadow of their greatness. Tremble in their presence and despair in your inadequacy. And don't forget to stop at the confession to fill your face with sugar treats and salty swill, where all proceeds go to the Falcone crime family. Yeah, everything does seem to, keep circling back to someone else. Gotham City Daily. And those people funnel their money into someone else as well. So it's all just like one big circle. Gotham City Daily. The Daily was once a voice for truth and reporting. Now it's a corporatists, fascist rag filled with lies about our city. The irony of the newspaper attacking the free press is almost too much to swallow. Yet, when we all knew that the Hamilton's mayoral election was rigged, the Daily defended him. When a pacifist group exposed police infiltration into their ranks, the Daily labeled them a group of terrorists. When Trident Labs dumped enough pesticides in the Gotham River to turn the bay pink, the Daily blamed algae blooms. As the assault on our civil liberties continues, the Daily doesn't remain silent. They voice their support, but our voices will drown theirs out. Print is dead. I wonder how Batman actually thinks. Does he look at all this stuff and just, like, looks it over and only protects people who are in need of, like, people with guns and everything? Because he could easily tackle this situation with his own money. Like, he's doing all this to, like, look into, like, the murders and everything, and, like, racketeering and gun sales and, well, maybe not opioid possession, but oh well. Gotham Light and Power. Our politicians continue to privatize what should be public goods owned by the people. Monopoly on electricity gives inordinate power over the entire population to a few corporate executives who think that they're genius businessmen because they make money through their control of a product that everyone needs. We the people pay for the roads, for bridges, for dams, for power plants, and then sell them off to these for-profit corporations. Oh, they say these utilities will be run more efficiently by private businesses, yet their executive salaries increase. They lay off full-time workers and use contractors they don't need to pay benefits to, and then begin price gouging the people. Electricity is a necessity, like air, water, food, and yet we allow these corporate profiteers to gain from it. I mean, if a public utility is losing money, who is it losing money to? The people. Whereas profits from privatized utilities go directly into the pockets of the wealthy few, and our costs always go up, no more. We will take back what is ours, give power free to the people, and see our lives prosper as a result. I wonder if any of this actually does go on in, like, real life and not just Gotham City's corrupt thing. Dock workers once belonged to the Dixon Docks. Dock workers once belonged to the one and most powerful unions. The longshoremen of old fought their industrialist oppressors over the right to earn a living wage. Excuse me. Hiccups. These and other unions of their day said no to capitalist exploitation of the worker and built the middle class. But those days are gone. The middle class has been obliterated by the elite. The unions of today do not work for the rights of the worker. They have been twisted and corrupted into the tools of oppression by crime lords with the help of their government cronies. By allowing the preservation of this instrument of liberty, fascist governments and corporatist interests have dismantled our rights to collective bargaining all too easily. We must re-educate ourselves. Oh, that's a hyphen. Remind ourselves that the worker is not a slave and deserves compensation that matches his contribution. You know what's something that sucks? Is that a lot of companies make it so that you can't form a union, but that's actually a right that the people of the U.S. are supposed to have, is the right to form a union. And it's of best interest to avoid that happening for companies, so they outrightly deny it. Like, you can't form a union, even though that's technically not legally a thing that you can do as a corporation. Monarch Theater. They don't show films here anymore. The theater was once a family-run operation, but their doors are closed. Unable to compete against the nationwide franchises that now dominate our landscape, theaters all show the same Hollywood dreck that keeps us entertained, but blissfully ignorant. There's no room for the art of film in a nation full of programmed, sugar-fed consumers. And so will target the industry of franchising, a business model that sucks money out of the communities and kills independent businesses. For some reason, I was about to say commies. I'm like, that's not right. Wonder Tower. Our corporate overlords build temples to their gods, the gods of greed, oppression, and opulence. Wonder Tower is the ultimate representation of capitalist arrogance, a monument to the disparity between bourgeois and the proletariat. Wonder City is a fiction meant to give false hope to the masses that their lives in the future will be prosperous, but history shows the opposite, that we will continue to fall behind while the power elite grow stronger. We will wipe this fantasy from the face of Gotham. Like, I really do genuinely like this character, one that can get like the masses behind him, because if anybody's watched the latest film, Joker, with Joaquin Phoenix, that's exactly what's like going on. Gotham City is seeing all this rise in crime because everybody who's treated like dirt from the 1% of Gotham are now rallying behind all this clown murder shit that's going on of killing other wealthy people. So all that comes about. So this is exactly like the same thing, but Anarchy is his own person. And I genuinely think that that's a good character. Joker in the Batman world is literally just a criminal and insane. Gotham Casino. Has there ever been a more criminal business than the casino? Burden the people with debt and make them so desperate that they'll throw away what little they have left for the fleeting hope that all their dreams will come true. Actually, that is a thing. Like, you can see lottery tickets say, make your dreams come true. Like, no, you have a 1 in, 15 million chance? 1 in 15 million or something like that? Maybe even billion. They show us pictures of the winners, massive jackpots that change lives, but they don't show us pictures of the thousands, the tens of thousands of losers. Nor do they tell us how those jackpot winners fare years after they collect, bankrupt, destitute, even worse off than they were before. You're selling a dream, and you're buying. Actually, that's actually like the tagline for like the Mega Millions jackpot scratch off. Chase your dream or something like that. And if that weren't enough, they go even further. They ply you with alcohol. Okay, I gotta go back into reading as Anarchy. They even rig their tables to tilt the already ridiculous odds so far in their favor that there's no way the house ever loses. And if you somehow beat those odds, they accuse you of cheating and get their goons to beat their money out of you. How do you cheat something that's based off luck? Just have like a... Well, this is 19-something. This is technically supposed to take place in like the 1900s. I was about to say, like, you could just record it and make sure that you aren't. But I don't think you're allowed to record in a casino, which oddly sounds really stupid. Because that would be like one thing to ensure that you and the person dealing don't cheat. Sionis Steel Mill. If there were ever a more ludicrous business, I've never seen it. You think they make steel here? Roman Sionis is the most illegitimate businessman in Gotham. And the only thing coming out of this mill is fine, white powder sold to the wealthy elite. Even the rich have their masters in a city run by criminals. And the Roman Sionis is both. But at least Sionis is an honest crook. He does not pretend to be what he is not. He takes what he can and does what he wants. They call that freedom. but he will trod over the freedom of anyone who stands against him and his empire. He is a king, and so he must also fall. Solomon Wayne Courthouse. Does anyone still believe that there is a justice in Gotham? There is justice in Gotham. If the common man robs a banker, that man is sentenced with full force of the law. But if the banker robs the world, he is given a bonus by bosses, corporate robber barons. No banker sees the inside of a courtroom. No financier. I don't know. Is charged with the theft, with fraud, with racketeering. The law does not apply to the elite. Even murderers and rapists are allowed to who are somehow brought before the court are only put away if their criminal overlords want it to happen. Yeah, that's right. You can actually pay off somebody who's, like, convicted of murder and rape and just, like, they'll be off scot-free if you have enough money. That's fucked. Judges are bought. Juries are bribed and intimidated. The system needs a purge. I don't know why I'm falling for all of this. Gotham Merchants Bank. In the past, if you have no talent, no ambition, and no skills, there was only one job that you could do. You could become a banker. But then our banks were deregulated. Lessons learned from the Great Depression were forgotten, and the banks were allowed to gamble with the money of pensioners, and the banks lost. They lost it all. But were the bankers punished, sent to prison? No, not one. Were they fired? No. They were given bonuses. Were they forced to shut their doors? No. They were bailed out by corporate governments using money for their very pensioners whose money they lost. They borrowed against our future and gave the money to the bankers, and now they ask that we embrace austerity because our country is so far in debt. And the bankers, they are not smug in the knowledge that they defrauded the world. They are not celebrating their victory over the middle class. No, they are so blinded by the broken and corrupt system that they don't even think that they've done anything wrong. We must pry their eyes open and make them face the fire of our fury. Damn. Ace Chemicals. They tell us that their products are safe. Who knows? Maybe it's true. Maybe the poison that they use to kill insects that feed on our fruits and vegetables does not affect you, does not affect life of mammals. But then, what about our bees? They're dying off in record numbers. There are places in the world where pollination no longer happens, where people have to pollinate each flower by hand. This corporation is reaping short-term profits at the expense of the people being able to eat an apple or an orange in the future. I'm just saying it now. If anybody wanted to become Anarchy in this day and age and get people behind them, it wouldn't actually be that hard. And this is not news. This is known and ignored by their well-bribed government officials and their quack scientist slaves. If they maintain that their product is safe and that I say we feed it to them, I don't know what I was reading near the end. Last 4. Carmine Hotel. When they don't want to do their deals in the light of day, the power brokers of Gotham come here. When they want to perform acts they wouldn't perform in front of their families, they visit the Carmine. The rats, the roaches, they're witnesses to all manner of sick crimes, not to mention the backroom deals that have been parceled up this city to corrupt officials and crime lords. Now that we know where to find them, we will hide, we will wait, and we will listen. And then we will throw back the curtains and shine the light on their sordid businesses and expose them to our rage. Amertech Industries. I was about to say Amtrak. Amtrak. Is that a real... That's a real company name, right? Amtrak? Amertech. Ameritech? I don't know. Guns and ammunition, weapons of war are the ultimate luxury good. When you fire a gun, you literally burn your money in a small explosion that sends a metal projectile down the gun barrel at high velocity. Is there anything more frivolous? There is no more heavily subsidized industry in the world. But they don't just use our money to make weapons. No, they use our tax money to lobby and bribe politicians. The very politicians who gave it to them so they can get even more. We don't require the right to bear arms. We only require the will to use them. Huh. I think that there actually might be some... Like, this is actually genuinely affecting the way that I look on stuff. Like the way that this guy goes about it is way above and beyond, and, like, trying to get these people, like, to suffer underneath them just as much, and not trying to make everything equal, which is socialism, which is also just as bad as capitalism in its, like, nth degree, because both fail in the slightest. Mendo soap. Mendo soap. Sounds innocent, doesn't it? But who is making the soap? Mendo imports illegal immigrant laborers, luring them into this city with the promise of a new life, and then forces them to work under threat of deportation. We should not begrudge these innocents of making a living. What we should rail against is the globalization that forces our workers to compete with them. The superpower corporations who have seen all the cross-border trade protections removed so that they might pillage foreign countries. And the result? The lives of workers all over the world destroyed. We welcome these brother workers, for they shall swell our ranks. Quite literally, it actually wouldn't be that hard to just overthrow a lot of shit. When was the... well, then again, there are guns. When was the last time any pharmaceutical company announced a cure? They don't search for cures anymore. Cures are bad for business. If you cure someone, you can only have them as a consumer once. But if you manage their condition, well, you can have a consumer for life. For profit pharmaceutical research that will never cure the diseases of our time, they prey on the compassion and your guilt and use it for their own financial gain. Stop funding them. Stop giving them our tax dollars. They take our research. Take their research and give it back to the people who will use it for common good. And that's that. That is everything that I wanted to read. And that's an hour and a half. And I don't know how I feel in the end. Well, I know how I feel. My throat hurts right now. It really hurts from reading all that. I should really, whenever I set time away to read all this information, which I'll do for Arkham Knight, I should really bring a drink with me and drink it while I go along. But that is that. That is the end of Batman Arkham Origins. If you are looking forward to Arkham Knight, don't be afraid. It is coming probably tomorrow. Unless something happens just randomly that I can't post the episode. Unless I have like a video, like a Lego video or some other side series happened before. But that is that. So this is where I hit exit. This is where I leave this game. And I should also mention, even though I've mentioned it before, I'm not doing the multiplayer. I don't have Xbox Live on this account anymore. I didn't pay for it this year. So for now, I leave this here. And I say, have a nice day. Ow.